If you look at this chart, you should get a technical bounce here. Now, this is the important part here. So I am calling for a technical bounce back to probably this level here. Let me put a trend line in. So this is about 25,500. And then if that's able to be eclipsed, you have upside to about 28,000, maybe 300 to 400. However, I don't believe we are at the lows on crypto. So I think this is a trader's market in crypto. I think you get back to maybe 25, maybe 28, but please understand that my next target on the downside is 12,000 to 13,000. I talked about Bitcoin heading down to 20,000. The main reason I thought it needed to get there is because that was the 2017 high. We've been seeing a lot of the dot-com-ish type stuff. For those of you that don't remember the dot-coms, it was basically crypto, but for the internet, right? The internet age was just dawning in the late 90s. Stocks were going up, from 5 cents to 20 cents to $1 to $5, just like a lot of cryptocurrencies did. And Amazon, by the way, was one of those stocks that just had an amazing move up. But just like with crypto now, the dot-com bubble collapsed, and a lot of dot-coms got wiped out. They went to zero, and a lot of them also were bought out for pennies on the dollar by the likes of the bigger players out there. So the same thing is going on here in crypto, and that's one of the calls that I've made going back to last November, is that we have to see that flush out. Part of that reasoning is just simply, if you look at how many cryptocurrencies there are like 20,000. There's no way that we can have 20,000 cryptocurrencies. It probably should be 50 or maybe just 20. So you have to flush those out. We've seen Celsius kind of get to that point of being almost insolvent. We've seen other cryptocurrencies like Terra Luna basically collapse. So it's in the process. The one thing I would say is, if you look at this chart, you should get a technical bounce here. Now, this is the important part here. So I am calling for a technical bounce back to probably this level here. Let me put a trend line in. So this is about 25,500. And then if that's able to be eclipsed, you have upside to about 28,000, maybe 300 to 400. However, I don't believe we are at the lows on crypto. So I think this is a trader's market in crypto. I think you get back to maybe 25, maybe 28, but please understand that my next target on the downside is 12,000 to 13,000. If we look at the Bitcoin chart here, now notice this big M pattern right here, right?
Oh yeah.
So we have this pattern here. And then what I want to show you guys is look at the Amazon chart going back. Let's go to the weekly so we can get back there, going back to the .com era. All right. So if we zoom in, and I hope I'm not making anyone sick moving the chart, but look at the same sort of pattern here on Amazon. And I really do look at Bitcoin like the Amazon of cryptocurrency, meaning that, Amazon's reached $1 trillion+. It's a mega sized company. It's taking over the globe. And you have the same sort of pattern here. And so this, yes, it collapsed. It went from all the way, if we look at the highs up here, let me go to the daily chart. So if we look at, let me just go back here, just bear with me here. Let me go to the monthly, in fact. And I apologize, my charts are being a little wacky. All right, so here, let me just say this. So here you got as high as, this is post-split. So it was, remember, Amazon just split recently. So, pre-split, it was about $112 and it collapsed all the way down to $6. So if you think about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, it could mean that Bitcoin not only is headed to 12,000, but lower. But my bigger point is, look at that in relation to where Amazon went, right? Wow. So now see that little M pattern back there?
Yep.
Right over here?
Yep.
And then look at where it went. So I really do believe that cryptocurrency, as it matures as an asset, will eventually start behaving much like Amazon. And that means there is massive, massive upside. You just have to weather the storm. We have to get through this kind of bubble bursting, and then the best will survive. Place for both of these. There's the one you can hold, and then there's the digital one where you can send very quickly. So I think as a short-term play, you are going to see some sort of rally here, because if you can see here, basically this thing had a nonstop run, and then it kind of basically put in a little bit of a short-term top. And if we draw a trend line across these highs, the low that we recently saw was right to that. So I think in the near term, it likely gets a bounce back. I could see 120, 125 or so on the price. But I do think we're in a new era where valuation matters. There were so many years where valuation did not matter for technology stocks, and now people want to see that value. And so the PE ratios for a lot of these companies have to come in. So my guess is yes, a bounce here, but I wouldn't stay married to it for too long unless you're okay holding it for a really longer period in case it goes a little bit lower. Because I do think eventually it probably does head down just a little bit more.